Good morning, Giants. Hey, just a couple of things before I jump into my thoughts this morning. I love getting on here now. It's kind of my routine. I've got my green screen set up. I'm doing a recording this morning for the Wake Up with Giants TV. Our show that we were going to do on Sunday didn't record, and so we're going to redo that today, and I'll get that posted with Julie Birmingham. She has a great message, so watch for that. Sunday, we're going to do another show with John Brooks. So this coming Sunday at 9 a.m. So make sure you're there for that. And then the big thing right now is we're pushing on this Kickstarter. We have 8 days left to get it funded. And so each day we're coming out with different items that we can offer. We're just getting creative. You know, it's a good time to be creative. It's a great time to be launching a business. In fact, if you go back and look at the history from 2008, 2009, after that first recession there, a lot of big businesses started in the most difficult time. So if you're waiting for it to get better before you do anything, don't. Jump right into it. Start building right now. Start getting your message out there. Start getting your product out there. So let me jump into the thought. I was listening to a book yesterday that was talking about the makeup of the human body, and it was actually going through all of the matter and material in the universe. And so I love the research side. This guy was I can't even think of it now. He's a research scientist, but he was talking about the makeup of the human body. And so that's what I want to visit today, is talking about our human bodies and how they're composed. And so each of us has, probably, 7 billion atoms and over 1 trillion cells in a single human body. We have over 86 billion neurons in our brain. We have more than enough capacity to do everything we need to do in this earth. What we faulted when we came in was all of the information we need to create the life that we want to create. And so what separates one person from another is not necessarily their body. There are people that are born with, parts of their brain missing or handicaps and things like that. But they're still able to succeed. I've got friends online that, regardless of their physiological condition, their physical condition, they're still creating amazing things in this world. So it doesn't have to limit us. What I want to focus on is the brain. And the potential of your brain specifically, just to give you a sense of how powerful you really are if you'll go out there and just fill it with the information you need to succeed in your life. If you think about a fruit fly's brain, a fruit fly's brain has 135,000 neurons in it. 135,000 neurons. If each of those neurons was a person, we have a city here called West Valley City. It has 135,000 people in it. You can imagine 135,000 people living in your brain going to work for you each day. That's a fruit fly. That's crazy. We have 86 billion neurons. I looked up the blue whale because it has the biggest brain out there in the animal world. It's like a 17-pound brain. It's ridiculous. But as far as neural connections in a whale versus a human, humans still have more neural connections than they do. And so we have 86 billion connections in our brain. Good morning, Renee. So you think about this, Einstein had 86 billion neurons. Crazy, right? You would think he would have more neurons than you or I, but he didn't. What Einstein had was more glial cells, and those are the support cells that go in and support your neurons. He had more of those in his hippocampal region and his neocortex. So why those two areas are important. The neocortex is the area of the brain that helps you spatially imagine and create and think. And so his area of thinking was off the charts. His area of the hippocampus, which is where you remember things, where you store information, was off the charts. And so, but his neurons were the same as yours and mine. His glial cells in those two areas were more than yours and mine. But it's because he pushed himself to get there. He wasn't born with it. He wasn't special. He might have had the capacity like you and I do. But he went out and he pushed himself in those areas to build those parts of his brain so that he could advance. He became one of the smartest men in America, in the world for that matter. Look at the things that he created. So what I'm saying with this is anything you want to learn, you've got to put in there. You talk about nourishing and feeding your body. You know, we want to put the right foods in our body. We want to put the right information in our body. And we want to consume that as much as we consume food. We want to use food so that we can consume the information. We want to use that energy so that we can get out there and get all of that information into our head, that knowledge into our head. And not only have memory of it, but learn to spatially think through it and create with it so that we are coming up with ideas that are just off the charts. These books, you know, you think of these books that anybody can write a book. I'll say that. Anybody. We all have capacity for it. Whether you do it or not is up to you. But if you'll feed information into your brain, if you'll specialize and just plug, but not just know things, know how to use it. So then take that information and start putting it into your world, start creating with it. I want to talk about, you know, just briefly, I work as a finance manager and I do loans all day. And I work with over 80 banks. And what I find interesting, so this, I'm just going into an idea of how, you know, feeding information in creates information out. We have 80 banks and we have to go through manually print out a paper that tells us what the bank will offer, what their rates will be, terms, qualifications, all of that. Well, I plug that information in to my brain and it's overwhelming. It's a lot. So I thought, man, let's create something. I had information and knowledge about Excel. So what I did is I put together an Excel spreadsheet that went in and calculated which banks to go to based on the customer's rate, how much they're borrowing, their credit score, you know, their geographic location. And it would take all that information off those sheets and plug it into this one place where I could just quickly calculate and come up with the best solution for that customer. Now, that knowledge didn't come from those rate sheets. The ability to create that thing didn't come from those rate sheets. That knowledge to create those came from previous calculators I had built. What I'm saying with that is you can take previous information and adapt it to whatever you're doing. Writing these books, I take information in constantly. I'm listening to books, I'm reading articles. By putting that information in there, then what I want to do is start creating from that information. And then it becomes uniquely mine. And so I might borrow from those ideas just like Einstein did, but then I'm able to create with it. It becomes my paint, you know, in a sense. It becomes my calculator, or my typewriter in a sense. It's all these words that are available to me, but I'm the one that gets to create what they look like. So don't limit yourself. You have 86 billion brain cells working for you. You have 3.75 times that amount of glial cells working for you. So to say that you're not smart enough, to say that you're dumb or that you can't do it is ridiculous. You have the same brain as Einstein. You have the same brain as me. See, all smalls, if you think about the analogy of the book, they were all born with the same potential. What held them back were their beliefs about that potential and their actions around it. Now, you already have the capacity in here to do anything. And so now it's up to you to feed it the information that you need to create anything. Good morning, Jishnu. You know, I don't want people to limit themselves because they think that they can't do something. The reality is you have the brain for it. You already have the capacity for it. So go feed the information in and start creating from it. Create amazing things. If you don't know how to market, go feed marketing information in there and then start practicing it. If you don't know how to write a book, then go learn about writing a book. Plug it in there, learn from giants, learn from mentors, and then create your own version of it. If you don't know how to do anything in your world that you want to create, let's say you want to get a degree, you want to get a job, you want to get an advancement, fill your brain with the information you need to get that advancement and then go start practicing it so that you can have that thing and grow into your giant potential. I hope this is making sense this morning. I just wanted to share that with you. Don't limit yourself. Is ridiculous to think. Even a fruit fly has 135,000 neurons on it. You have 86 billion. neurons. Don't limit yourself. Don't talk down to your ability to create, because you have giant potential. So go use it. If you don't know how to do something, go grab it and start practicing it and learn from others, and shove in as much information in there as you can so that you can bring it out and use it where you need it. So I hope you guys go out and make it a giant day. I appreciate you being on the video, and I will see you on the next one. See ya.